Oh, hello, my wonderful beautiful brothers and sisters of the Maori Nation. Inside the Dark Shadow Maverick. I'm here with What If Naruto Was Captain of Squad 14 and King of Honey. Is part 2 of that. I'm here with part 2 of What If Naruto Was Captain of Squad 14 and King of Honey. You know, Squad 14 because, freaking Gotai, like Gote, and Honey Pot because all the ships. Ah, yes. I'm truly despicable. You should call me Gru. Good God. Anyways, I'm gonna be doing a 2.5 year, time skip shit after part 1. Everything, Gotai, everything. It's all, huge. It's your huge. And basically, Naruto using Liberativ's free time as a captain to, speak with his son Pakuto, since he doesn't get a lot of time to do that now lately. And basically, Zangetsu, the Quincy side of his Zangetsu, basically like, okay, I'm done talking to the Hollow side. Now, what do you want? Don't act stupid. I know that you want something from me. And basically, Quincy's Zangetsu would be like, ah, yes. About that. It seems that the natural energy, as you call it, from your, or at least what's left of your previous world, seems to be imploding in on itself, creating a new one with a similar timeline, as one can feel from the surroundings at least. Yes, it does indeed seem like that. And with the recreation of your world, the world in which Kurosaki Ichigo once fought to protect, is stemming in order to support the natural energies output onto the reincarnated world. And Naruto's just like, so in other words, this world that, we're supposed to protect is now being replaced with a reincarnated version of my former world. Before I became a captain of the Gotai, now 14. With Vice Captain Shikaku and Lieutenant Kasui. And basically, Quincy Zangetsu would be like, right on the money. Just be like, cheeky remark. And basically, Naruto would be like, so the timeline restarts itself. Possibly even the cycle of hatred. That is, unless I find a way to get everybody to do something about it. Or it should have been done already. And Quincy-san gets is just like, so you're going to talk to them about this? And Naruto's like, don't even get me started about the whole thing of us keeping this shit in between ourselves. You know that was never going to happen. Like, if they're to trust me, I have to be able to trust them and vice versa. Especially with important information like, the implosion of an entire world in order to be replaced with another. And its implosion to be reincarnated into another. Also natural energy. Being the only thing that seems to not be directly imploding in on itself. Just gathering up more and more as the world begins to form after its implosion. And Quincy-san gets to just like, is this how you treat Hollow Shinigami Zangetsu? And I was just like, actually, I think just calling him Shiro is a lot easier thing to do than just stating Hollow Shinigami Zangetsu. And if you're wondering, well, one of you is a lot easier to communicate with than the other, trust me. I mean, the dude may be a psychopath, but literally, he is part hollow. What do you expect? I mean, I know not all hollow are like that, but still, all those Shinigamis don't exactly get along all the time, you know what I mean? Not exactly the bread and butter of each other. So, yeah, expectable. And just like that, just like all this, a cycle of hatred, unless something is done about it, will indeed also follow suit in the cycle of reincarnation that is being done here. But I must indeed ask, do you maybe know of a possibility of the possible also reincarnation of the ones known as Orihime, Chad, and Uryu? Because it would seriously suck if they were to die. I found them amusing as my time as a captain before this news reached my ears. And Quincy Zangetsu would just be like, it is indeed true that they will survive on. But the others, I'm not so sure about. And Naruto would just be like, well then, at least I have some reassurance that things aren't going to get boring anytime soon. This relative peace has been very calming for my nerves. That is, whenever you and Shiro over yonder really aren't invading my subconscious, trying to pester me about whatever the shit you want. Only difference is, Shiro seems to be really direct, while you seem to be really indirect. That's actually quite concerning if you ask me. But maybe that's because I know what's to come because of the fact that I used to live in that world. And could you also, give me the details on if they'll remember their past lives? Orihime, Chad, and Uryu? And Quincy Zangetsu would just be like, just like themselves, yes. Oh, so their body comes back? They come back with all of their previous experience. That is freaking freaky deaky shit. Okay then, I think you have nightmare fuel for today. Jesus. And basically, like, Naruto would get out of the meditative state and be like, well, now time to pester the freaking captains about this shit. If anything, I think they're the ones that need to know. Yo, Head Captain Shisui, I think you need to call for a meeting. And Shinsley would just be like, what the? Naruto? What about a meeting? And if so, how many of the captains? You better not be pulling any Sasuke and bullshit. And Naruto would just be like, hey, don't lump me in with that criminal. And they're like, just like, besides, like, I just learned about him, like, yesterday, so, like, yeah, it's her fault for, like, any misinformants. I don't know if I use that word correctly. Anyways, yeah, all the captains. We're gonna have 14 now. And I'll bring my vice captain and lieutenant along, seeing as this is very important information that you guys are gonna need to know. And, one meeting later, and everybody's just like, well, shit. Wrong, fuck. The meme lives. And Naruto's just like, well, I got a little bit of a cycle of hatred to stop if nobody minds. Like, I got a little bit of a cycle of hatred to at least do my best to stop. If you don't mind, I haven't seen that events have already starting to, like, mosey along. And one certain event I have to keep from happening if the Uchiha be set straight before any damage can be really done. Indra, I'm not going to let Zetsu misinform you again. Or at least misinform your message. Black Zetsu, was it? And then Kenpachi would be like, hey, I forgot to go kill somebody. Can I come with? And like, freaking, Yachiru would just be like, yeah, Ken-chan, we're gonna come with. And Naruto's like, anyone else wanna? And then Toshiro and Byakuya would, be like, sure, we'll come too. And, like Naruto's like, I kinda understand Byakuya because Byakuya and Kenpachi, like, you two seem to have, like, have a constant pissing contest over, like, me being here. But what about you, freaking Toshiro? Why you? And Toshiro would be like, you're forgetting. This is still a matter that involves, protection of the world here. No one else seems to have really manned up, like, gotten the balls. So I decided that if any added members, I would be the one, volunteer. And so Naruto would just be like, oh, that's how it is. And Naruto would just be like, okay. Then we have Kenpachi Zaraki, Miyaki Akushiki, and Toshiro Hitsugaya. Okay, you three and your associates, let's get this over right. But you see anybody in Black Zetsu? that mofo is mine. Like, he's just like, that mofo was mine and my squad's alone. And, well, like, Byakuya and Kenpachi and, Toshiro eventually will be like, okay, fine, sure, you can have him. But anyone else, like, we're gonna go. Like, and they're like thinking, like, well, then there is the white Zetsu and that whole deal with Kaguya, so have you seen any white version of the black weird dude? You can kill them. There's like an army of them, like, dropping from the moon, like freaking man on the moon. Like, Jesus. Yeah, basically Black Zetsu and White Zetsu. Black Zetsu's gonna try to sabotage some shit with it, like this Uchiha stone tablet. I'm not gonna let him do that. And that's why my squad's gonna come with me. They're not gonna let him do that. You guys, though, can help with the other lot. The sort of sacrificial lamb, the white sheep of the group, the white Zetsu. Yeah, I could sense they'd be a troublesome lot. So, if you guys want to help with that, if you guys come across any of them, then I'll be all the more thankful. And Kapachi and Yaki and Toshiro would be like, well, what exactly do they look like? And Naruto would just like use his Ryatsu to project like an image of like black Zetsu and white Zetsu. And that like white Zetsu would probably be like an army of the dudes. So yeah. And Kapachi would just be like, an army? You hear that, Yachiru? An army. Like, oh shit, Kapachi's getting excited. And Byakuya would just be like, well, I guess I did offer to tag along. And Toshio would just be like, come on guys, this might not be our original Earth, but this is still Earth. And Byakuya and Kapachi would be like, oh yeah, that's right. With the Naruto, you do the leading and shit, because we're not familiar, or as familiar with this version of Earth. And Naruto would just be like, sure thing. And just be like, let's go. And basically, be like, vice captain. And Shikaku will be like, yes, Captain Uzumaki? Like, yes, Captain Uzumaki? And Naruto would be like, I'm gonna need you to punch a hole in space-time for us to, move at exceptional enough speeds to prevent Black Zetsu from screwing the entire Uchiha clan over, like, badly. Like, possibly even worse than Danzo. Probably don't. Oh, actually do. It's just, we're gonna need your help. I think you know what I mean. I think you know what I mean. And Shikaku would be like, oh, that. Of course. And, she would just be like twirling her Zanpakuto sword around. And Byakuya would be like, what is your vice captain doing? And Toshiro would be like, what the? I don't think I've ever seen anyone use Zanpakuto like that before. And Kenpachi and Yachiru would just be like mesmerized by the way like Shikaku would just use like her Zanpakuto, like, and just be like, gotta Aikibi, like gotta one tail. And basically, Gata would be the name of Shikaku Shikai. And basically, I'm going to already say it right now. The name of Shikaku's Bankai is. hmm, Basically, her Shikai is Gata Aikibi because Aikibi is the sword. And the name of the Bankai is. Tanuki Aikibi. Because, the Tanuki Sand Spirit. So, yes, Gata Aikibi, and, you know, basically, the Shikai is Gata Aikibi, and the Bankai is Tanuki Aikibi. So basically, just throwing it around and eventually comes to a stop. Gata Aikibi. And she just charges up like a big Bijudama through the freaking Shikai. Just blasts out like a freaking punch, like punching a hole through time and space. Boosh! And a portal is just made. And Naruto's like, and before you ask, yes, all of them can do that. Except for what would seem to be the lieutenant. But then again, he isn't a Biju reincarnated into a human form. He's just a son of Kurosaki. Kurosaki-kun. And basically, like, Naruto would be like, besides, what did you expect? She's my freaking vice captain. And now, here we go. No time to waste, ladies and gents. No time to waste. And, like, Kasu would kind of be interested because, like, this would be his first ever, like, true mission. Like, in, like, 2.5 years, this would have been, like, his, like, true mission where he could, like, prove himself. And basically, Byakuya and his peeps, and Kenpachi and his peeps, and Toshiro and his peeps, basically they'd be spread out through the entire area, like in individual spots, to see if they can find any of the white Zetsu. Because Naruto did like make a projection to show them what white and black Zetsu looked like. And Naruto and his peeps would just go after freaking, all of Squad 14 and their captain, Captain Uzumaki. Captain Uzumaki Naruto. Captain Uzumaki Naruto of Squad 14 would just be going straight for the Uzumaki, not Uzumaki, straight for the Uchiha Stone Tablet, because that's where Black Zetsu would try to pop up and mess with the real message. And they would make it just in time. And, right as Black Zetsu's about to, do his handiwork, you would just hear Rasengan! Boom! Boom! Like, Black Setsu would be like, what the was that? And Naruto would just be like, any of you want to do the honors? I just laid down the groundwork. And Kasu's like, oh, uh, Captain Uzumaki, can I do it? And Naruto's like, mm, mm, Kasui, you want to do it? Well, you are my lieutenant. Well then, fire away. I presume you know what I mean. Actually, and like, he's like, constantly bring out your sword, like, release it in its Shikai form. Because, Kasu's actually got into Shikai form. And basically, Naruto gets his into Shikai form, and they, like, touch theirs together. And Kasu's like, Captain Uzumaki, what are we doing? And Naruto's just like, silly Kasui, we're cleaning out the trash. And Black Setsu would be like, what is that? And then, Naruto would just be like, Jetsuga Tensho! And it would be like a black and red one, like, hollow freaking Getsuga Tensho, like, whoosh! Like, freaking destroy Black Setsu. And, Naruto would just be like, how do you feel after that, Kasui? Kasui would just be like, feel like I'm going to die if I don't sleep soon. And Naruto would be like, oh, I think I took way too much of his spiritual pressure. Oh, shit. Shikaku, you mind And Shikaku's like, I already know what to do. Like, I already know what to do, Captain Uzumaki. And basically just, pulls, Kasui up into her arms and just, like, takes her back. Like, takes Kasui back to, like, get healed up. And, well, Naruto just walks out there and sees, like, some holy shit. It's, like, a bunch of freaking white Zetsus tried to creep up on Byakuya, and he just, he was already in his Bankai form, like, he was, like, just, he was getting annoyed by how many of these guys he was having to kill in order to get to, like, the rendezvous point that Naruto made for them in order to get back to the Soul Society. And, Byakuya was getting so annoyed that he just straight up used Bankai on these guys and activated his Senkai. It was like, Senkai, just freaking destroy your asses. And just like Senkai, like thrashed his Senkai on him, like, bam! Like, you got wrecked, Scrub Lord. You just a bunch of Scrub Lords. And Toshiro, decides to further prove this by, activating his Bankai, his actual real Bankai, like the one where he's like an older version of himself, like, and just like, Hiyorimaru, like, freaking, like, Daiguren Hiyorimaru, like, bam! Just boom! And, like, all of them are, like, frozen in, like, suspension, like, Ice Age shit. And then, like, after, like, bum rushing several of the white Zetsu, Kenpachi is just like, okay, Yachiru, you know what to do. And Yachiru just, like, freaking, like, killing intent blasts all the frozen Zetsus. Boom! Like, Kenchan is fighting, you meanies. Boom! Like, just blows them all up, like, one go. And then Kenpachi just like, Yachiru, you ready? I mean, Toshiro and Byakuya are doing it, so why don't we? And Byakuya and Toshiro just like clearing the way, like, oh no, we don't want to get any part of that. And Yachiro's like, yeah, Ken-chan, Bankai. And Kenpachi's like, well then. And then you would just hear like freaking invasion in the background, like dun 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 Bankai. Like like the freaking metalcore version of freaking invasion. It's like it's like, and it was like Bankai. And basically Ichiro would just be steering Kenpachi at this point because, the Bankais are like go straight and like all the wet Zetsus would be like, oh shit, and it's like boom, like kill their asses. And like the last thing, like, Ichiro would realize, oh yeah, like these guys seem to be able to regrow themselves. Well, Ken-chan, I think we know how to fix that. Like, I think we know how to fix that, Ken-chan. Remember, 2 hands. And then you just put his other hand, and, like, just had further punishment, like, for good measure. Just like, Ichiro at the last second would just take off the eye patch, and then, you see like, the giant skull in the background, like, whenever Ichigo and Kenpachi were fighting. And the Soul Society arc, it's like, and just be like, 2 hands, oogie! It's like, boom! Mushroom cloud, motherfucker. And just like decimate everyone in sight. Like it's a good thing that Byakuya and Toshiro got the hell away from those two. Naruto, just as soon as he came out there, he just saw Kenpachi just like fucking thrashing, like just like, and then like 2 hands over, like boom, Bankai version, boom. With the eye patch off. Yeah, boy, oh boy. Basically, Naruto just freaking Rasenganing and then double gets Katensho and like the frick out of freaking Black Zetsu. He can't like mess with the Uchiha Stone tablet. And basically Byakuya and all his people that's including Renji. And let's say actually Ruki wanted to come too because she's kinda, like related to Byakuya. And Toshiro and his peeps, that including freaking, I forgot her name again. Shit. Shit. Oh yeah, Rangiku. Yes, Toshiro. And since Toshiro was there, Rangiku would be there, because Rangiku is Toshiro's lieutenant. I believe. And, Kenpachi and Ichiro just... I guess just for shits and giggles, have Ikaku be there. Have him be able to use his Bankai. Like, that shit. Because I know Ikaku has a Bankai. A very interesting one at that. Interestingly weird. So yeah, like Ikaku, freaking Kenpachi and Ichiro, freaking Toshiro, Rangiku, Rukia, Renji, and Byakuya, like, all those peeps be there, like, they just be, like, thrashing. That's what Naruto walks out to, like, okay, I think we got, damage control under control. Like, you know what I mean? And, Naruto would just signal to everybody, like, okay, guys, I think we got rid of the problem. And that would just be a day for them. And then, not long afterward would start the age of the Warring States period. And things would actually happen as like a normal. However, due to the information not being tampered with by Black Zetsu on the Uchiha Stone Tablet, Madara wouldn't go like revenge crazy, and he would actually get some of the people of the Uchiha Council, whatever, that were going against him. They would look at the information and they would see what Madara saw, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, this does kind of make some sense." But however, Madara would also be persuaded as well, like to like kind of be like at an impasse to like an impassive relationship with a Senju. Plus, I mean, they're going on like a big milestone, like with basically the end of the first Shinobi War coming along. Like, yes, the entire Madara versus Hashirama fight got avoided, and so a lot of Hashirama and Madara's chakra that they used, uh, they didn't really use because they never really fought, because the Stone Tablet and all of this Uchiha smack talk never really got bubble to the surface. Smack talk towards the Uchiha. So they were a little bit more willing to, let it be, do the thing, do the Mario. Ding, 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 ding. And, go from one Shinobi World War, like from one Shinobi War to another Shinobi War. How about this time, actually, Madara's still alive, and he isn't, like, completely against the Senju. He's actually one of the main figureheads of the support of the Senju on the side of the Uchiha. Yeah, because everything's been more of a positive light, because the Stone Tablet didn't get screwed over, and so Madara's mood kind of cleaned up a little. He didn't go straightforward, like, bam, like evil, auto evil. But, basically, seeing as Madara's there, Madara basically, along with Hashirama and soon to be, like, after Tobirama, Hiruzen, like, those three guys, like, all gods of Shinobi. Yeah, so instead of just one god of Shinobi, you would have two god of Shinobis to worry about. Because, like, Hashirama and Madara, because Madara wouldn't have been OHKO'd by freaking Hashirama, like, wood clone version. And so, basically, that would also stop the whole plotting scheme thing, as Madara, like, the ghost of the Uchiha. And basically, with the support of all the Uchiha clan, backed up by Madara, well, this whole thing where Kiri, Kumo, and Agla. Basically, we're all going to attack. Basically, they would get a rude awakening whenever it'd be like a war on two fronts. Like the Senju and like what's actually like their like present Uzumaki lives on Konoha were like cut in half like military power. So like they would meet at one front and then like the Uchiha would kinda like circle around to like meet up at the other front, like in a pincer movement to just take out the entire freaking legion that was going for freaking Uzo Shiokakure. And basically, I would just tell Ira, Kiri, and Kumo that, like, not only are the GS, like, still, like, loyal to the village, but Madara is still alive. And then they'd just be like, fuck. Yeah, Madara and Hashirama, tag teaming. And even Tobirama, like, you know, with a clean sweep of the mind that, happened from, everything being, like, set straight. Tobirama would even be there, and they all just, like, the three of them being, like torching their asses. And, like, it'd be, like, a decisive clean sweep. And Suna wouldn't even want to be in this anymore. Like, they'd be like, we surrender. We surrender. Like, we don't even need to be any of that shit. Like, we surrender. And, after the Second Shinobi World War and, Uzushiok are still standing, but Uzushiok would still allow Kushina to make the decision if she wanted to stay in Konohana or go back to her homeland. But this would also be around the time, the Third Shinobi World War, and the Third Shinobi World War would still be around the time, like, with Minato, and so Kushina would have fallen in love with Minato. So she would choose to stay in Konoha. However, even though Minato was selected to be the fourth, Hokage, seeing as, like this freaking whole thing that happened with the freaking pincer movement back in the Second Shinobi War, Orochimaru would kind of know that Madara is still in that business, even after all these years. Madara was still pretty Oko, like freaking amazing, like Opa. So Orochimaru wouldn't be that stupid, like, he wouldn't try to be doing what he did with, like, freaking Itachi and Canon, like, Madara is Madara. However, eventually there would be the date in which Mita Uzumaki, the wife of Hashirama Senju, died. And this would kind of spiral Hashirama into a deep depression. And, eventually he would finally die. And Tobirama, would die. Like, basically, kind of like falling dominoes. Madara was like, he would be like the only one left out of like the originals. Like, the original guys back in the Warring States period. And he would kind of be like security for like Orochimaru's freaking double crossing ass. So yeah, I would kind of imprint it in that way. However, Indeed, something would indeed kind of blow all this out of proportion, because even without Madara or Obito around, the Kyuubi's still gonna come about. Like, the Kyuubi's still gonna be moving about, and humans' natural nature to be afraid of things that they don't understand. They would attack the Kyuubi first, and Kurama would just have a shit fit, and attack the village anyways. Yeah, kind of can't afford that. But Madara would use his eyes to kind of just like keep Kurama still while some of the Azushi over guess at the time put some ceiling array shit, or at least that would have been what happened, except for those people would kind of just gotten side Biju blast at the last second. So Minato would be like, Madara, you may not approve of this, but I gotta do it because I gotta be the hero of the village. But you still do your thing. And Madara's like, I don't exactly know what he's talking about, but okay. Madara would basically, help Kushina in the fact that with the whole genjutsu on, it would be easier to pin Kurama with the chakra chains. And Minato, he would still use the Shiki Fuin, the Reaper Death Seal. And upon Madara realizing what he's going to do, is basically he's going to end up putting the third back in office. Or at least that's what Madara thinks. I mean, Minato's still going to die because, Shiki Fuin. And basically, same thing in canon happens, whole thing with Naruto and what Minato and Kushina say about, everything. Madara would have gotten a little bit closer to, keep holding on to the genjutsu as Kurama was being sealed. Only letting go of it whenever it was perfectly secured, the seal was perfectly finished. That's whenever it would let go of the genjutsu, because it might hurt the baby if it kept using the genjutsu while it was inside of it. Yeah, Madara did not want to screw Minato over by killing his child with a genjutsu. So, yeah, that's kind of what his plan was. And Madara will just hear the name right before both Minato and Kushina kind of dropped dead. Because there was a claw put through them as Kurama's last-ditch effort to retaliate. And so, Hiruzen would come over and around, be like, well, what's going on? What is happening? And Madara would kind of give him the lowdown. And basically, knowing that Hiruzen is kind of retired, and putting him back in office would kind of suck dick. He's thinking, what if the second term that would usually be required for the putting back in office of a Kage, what if it could be tweaked to where not really something that Hashirama wouldn't approve of, actually something that, considering the possibility that he could have been Hokage, and something that Hashirama would have actually looked forward to, considering everything that he had said about the whole title. What if he could possibly mix himself in there, relieve Hiruzen of possible troubles? And Hiruzen's just are you sure that's actually in there? The change around the terms Like he knows he's starting like first term like as like the Hokage, and then like gave it to Minato whenever he thought he needed a successor because he was, tired of this shit. And Madara's like, it's right here. It's like he just freaking like poof like just like the freaking decree on how the Hokage selection thing is like to work about. And like, by damn, the god, like, you know, he's just like, holy shit, he's right. I mean, like, here's just like, first of all, how do you even remember that? Like, it's been so damn long since it was first made. How do you even remember that? And second of all, I'm not sure that you're not going to be doing some, cray-cray shit. If you were to be given a term as, you know, secondary third Hokage, like secondary Sandan. Yes, two Sandans. Like, the first term was Hiruzen, but then he like retired, and then Minato died, and basically using the rules that Ashirama kind of put up as the first Hokage himself, the Shodan. Basically using the rules like playing a little bit of a game around the rules. Madara basically is like, I could just do this. But also make it seem like, you know, basically, or not really make it seem like anything, but kind of like doing the Hokage thing behind the scenes. Like, they may not know it, but, it's kind of like we kind of like play the villagers. Like, that might seem cruel to you or anybody else, but we kind of have to do that if we're going to keep you in retirement. And, Hiruzen is like, I get what you're trying to throw down, like put the cookie down and all that shit. But what about Naruto? And basically, Madara's like, oh yeah, that's easy. like you're worried about him being an orphan and shit, like, and the orphanage not treating him fair, like, because you and me both, like, we're both people of like, times of war. We know how the world is. The possibility that the Force wishes might not exactly be, thought about or thought upon, more or less the grief of losing the loved ones due to the attack of Kurama. And, Madara's just like, what better way to help the kid than to actually keep him from becoming an orphan? Or at least fix the orphan problem by getting him like an adopted parent of some sort. I know Hashiramo's always on me about, having a family. Even though kind of like the last little embers of hope for that, basically died whenever my brother Izuna was killed by the second, your teacher. No hard feelings, I guess. But I think you kind of get what I'm trying to say. Like, now, like, basically, Madara's like, he's like, man, I think you get what I'm trying to say. Like, we kind of disguise it like this to make people think that I'm not the Hokage, and, like, you're still, like, the Hokage, like, but, like, I'm kind of, like, secretly, like, Hokageing behind the scenes. And, seeing as this includes, basically, Madara kind of accepting her all as an adoptive father in Naruto. And, Hiruzen doesn't exactly know if this is a good idea or not, but it's kind of like the best idea that they have right now. And Jiraiya, Tsunade, and Orochimaru aren't exactly around. And Madara is like, need to remind you that I don't exactly like Orochimaru. And, well, basically, with this added on, with this whole thing of Naruto actually having, family that he knows about and everything, whenever he's eventually old enough, he can either choose to stay in Konoha or go to his, homeland of his mother, Ushio, seeing as it's still standing after all this time. Or he could choose to stay here and possibly one day, like Tsunade, if she ever chooses to come back to the village, will basically know about someone who's, because of Senju and, Uzumaki blood being mixed in, kind of a relative of his. And Hiruzen would just be like, well, Madara, I guess, sealed the deal. Like, bam. We good, we good. But Hiruzen would be like, but we might not be completely good because we still got to worry about Naruto like a home. That is, unless you want to try your luck and see if you can put him in the freaking Uchiha district, like shit, like. And, Madara's just like looking like here's and like, oh, you bet your ass I'm gonna do that. Like, besides, the Uchiha, everything to do with our clan right now is seem to be pretty freaking depressing. And, well, yeah. Not a very chipper time to be alive, so maybe with this Naruto, things get a lot better. I especially know a couple of Uchihas that, like, wouldn't need the experience in order to get out of the clumps. And so that's kind of how Naruto ends up getting brung up. This new Naruto ends up getting brought up as a part of the Uchiha clan. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Basically, Namikaze, Naruto, Uzumaki, Uchiha. And basically, the family he's pretty much adopted into is Madara, and pretty much he doesn't really know if he could ever really get married. Like, it's been so damn long. And so it's kind of just like that's kind of just how it is. And besides, he's not even 1 year old. It's just he's just been born, so. But that's kind of how everything's gonna go. Like, he's kind of gonna get brought up in the Uchiha thing. And so, yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna leave this off. Honestly, that's as good as Dark Shadow Memory. Get OUT out of here, you boys. Like, favorite, subscribe. Click that little bell. This is